We're coming to you live on a Monday. We're not live, technically. Coming to you on a chilly Monday evening in Southern California. I'm on the line with my man, Kyle. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling real good.
Me too. Another winning week. If you don't believe me, just watch. Go on to pickingduck.com. We're hot again. We went 5-0 this weekend.
So hot.
It was more like 4-0, but I accidentally bet the Packers twice on the money line. So double down.
Ooh.
5-0. We only posted winners. 73% win rate.
Like we said, there's no reason to pay for picks. Just jump on our bandwagon. We can throw you on our shoulder. We can carry you around. You're going to get heavier with the more money you make, but we're strong. We can handle it.
In the picks, not as hot, but okay. I'm doing okay. How'd you do?
You know, I'm actually tied with, I'm 1 point behind you as of now. You know, I didn't do that hot. There was a couple people out there who burned me, and that's all I'm going to say. There's a little bit of hate welling up in me, and whenever you're ready, I'm ready to release this shit.
Before I go into the hate, which I've got some, I got to give it a shout out. No bitch-assness for all the shit we talk, Mr. Lockwood. You have found yourself the top of the ladder again. You are killing fools. You're in second with 99 points, and first place is 100, and it all comes down to Monday night.
The cream of the crop.
The cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah. Chris took Carolina, and GoPro, who's currently in first, took Washington.
Oh, we will have a declared winner in tonight's game. It will be decided.
And if no bitch-assness wins, that's his second win. Now, I'm sorry we don't give prizes for that this year. Next year we will. But shout out, my man. There is no bitch-assness coming from you. You've rallied. We got to bow down for a second.
Sometimes respect and mad props from your homies is better than some materialistic prize. And if you win this week, Mr. Lockwood, you will gain other people's respect, but not mine. I'll just give you props.
I'm just over here eating a full plate of crow.
Yeah.
Now, before we delve into the week, let's get some hate. I think we're on the same page of hate this week, right?
I think we are.
Arizona Cardinals. I said it last week. You fucked me so many times and I went back to the well, so I deserve this. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. 3 times.
Fool me, don't fool me again.
6 times, fool me. I'm an asshole. I'm an idiot at this point. You know, you come out, you drop 41 points, but do you cover? No. Your defense, which was stout, number 2 in DVOA, number 2 in passing DVOA, and you get rolled. 48 points are dropped on you by Drew Brees and Brandon Cooks and the Saints.
Yeah, I got a lot of hate in this game for both teams. New Orleans. It took just the mountain of shit that Spenser and I have been heaping on you for weeks for you to finally step up and do this, but do it at the wrong time and fuck us in Arizona. Are you trying to kill your coach? The man has a family. You're going to give him another stroke. You played like shit.
It's such a waste of a brilliant season by David Johnson.
Oh, such a waste.
In his 17 tuds and leading yards from scrimmage, all for naught. Just sad. I don't know what else to say about that game. It just angered me to the core. In fact, it cost me a very large parlay.
No good. My next hate game of the week. I'm going to hate on you, Kansas City Chiefs, because I'd spoken so highly of you. But no, you can't even beat Tennessee Titans. You get beaten by an end-of-the-game field goal by a kicker that you fired a couple of seasons ago. I hate you for this.
That whole game it looked like the Chiefs were just going to come out and blow them out, and then either they let Tennessee hang around or they just shit the bed on offense. They were doing Alex Smith had a very un-Alex Smith horrible red zone interception. There was a bunch of stuff. Andy Reid icing the kicker, but not. He iced himself. You iced yourself, Andy.
Yeah, this game was atrocious. They started out 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then kicked a field goal in the second and didn't score another point for the rest of the game. The second half, they didn't even get near the end zone. What the proverbial fuck?
We only had 10 people on the sheet take Tennessee, and only 2 of them took them for double digits. I tip my cap to you two, but I still think we got fucked. Some poor bastard took the Jets for 16. We're not going to talk about that game, but you know what, we will. Because thank you, Miami. Your defense.
Miami.
I streamed your defense, and you lead me to the fantasy finals.
Yeah. Even without Ryan Tannehill, Matt Moore comes in, goes 12 of 18 for 236 and 4 touchdowns. My prediction of Jarvis Landry going for $120 and 2 touchdowns on Revis, okay, I was off. He did 3 receptions, 108 yards, and 1 touchdown. He needed that second one to make me the prophet.
Back to some hate. Packers. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You were up 10 with the ball. I thought a nice cover was in store. Felt good. Didn't have to worry. And then you let the Bears back in the damn game, and they almost won if it weren't for Jordy Nelson and Aaron Rodgers, who might be the best 60-yard thrower of all time, dropping dimes.
Yeah, the only thing I saw in this Packers game that I was actually impressed with was them finding the running game. Ty Montgomery blew up. 16 carries, $162 and 2 touchdowns. And then Christine Michael ripped a 42-yard touchdown and ended up with like 4 carries, 45 yards for the day.
Yeah, I was
They hadn't even done anything like that all season.
Ty motherfucking Montgomery. Better be a household name by now. He is stellar. He's like Percy Harvin on steroids. Maybe literally. He's pretty ripped.
Test him.
We need some ped testing on Ty.
Yeah, I mean, why not? The rest of the Packers team's been testing. They got a PEDS dispenser in their locker room, just fucking popping these little pills out or needles or something.
Bro, Clay Matthews is natural gains.
That caveman forehead that he grew in his freshman year of college, it's genetic.
It's not like he hung around Brian Cushing a lot.
It's genetics. His family plays football on the pro level, which means as a walk-on at $140 and then turning into a 245 linebacker, that's genetics.
Ooh, I got a good hate. Minnesota, we blew the Viking horn and you laid down like punk bitches. I'm not even going to say dogs because I respect dogs. I don't respect you. And got your asses handed to you at home in a must-win playoff game by the Colts? They didn't just beat you. They slapped you around the field.
Yeah, but if you remember, I took the Colts. I knew I might have blown the horn for you, but I took the Colts. And the fact, 34-6, that game got out of hand.
That got out of hand quick. They should have tapped it. Zimmer should have thrown his eye patch on the field as like the towel and just called it right there. It was pathetic.
Yeah, where did the run rule come in? Because they were up 27-0 at the half.
I was in my fantasy match. We had 3 Vikings players involved, and they combined for 1.8 points.
Oh, God. Well, it was good to see that when the Colts actually protect Andrew Luck, he can perform when he's not laying on his back.
But how did they protect? Speaking of that, this was the 32nd offensive line combo Luck has played behind. Going into Minnesota against arguably the best pass rush and defense, he had no trouble.
And I want to give a shout out to the ageless wonder, Frank Gore, going for 101 yards. Come on. The dude's like 34 years old and he's crushing life.
He's amazing. He is a fine wine. just like Larry Fitzgerald, just like James Harrison. These men are
so good.
These men are above all of us. Let's talk about some games, some shit we liked.
Let's do it.
Matt Stafford and Jim Bob Cooter. I took the Lions. And, they had some bad breaks early. I was a little bit shocked by that. Stafford's hand is fine. He threw some... That dude has such a howitzer. He threw some fucking darts that were so impressive. And at the last second, Eli Apple and the Giants D would just bat it away like it was nothing. Just Mutombo that shit right out of the field of play. And the Giants D right now is playing next level when it matters most. I would fear them if I was in the NFC because their defense right now is just next level.
Yeah, I was actually pretty shocked by this game. The fact that the Lions were only able to muster up 6 points. And let's be honest, the Giants offense wasn't that great either.
No.
This was almost like a true defensive battle with a couple of big plays in there by Odell. You know what I mean? Like Golden Tate had 122 yards receiving, but couldn't get in the end zone. The Lions couldn't get in the end zone. That's unheard of. Jim Bob Cooter, did you get too hammered the night before? Should have dialed up some plays. Whose bed were you sleeping in?
I saw them. They were playing well early. They had a fumble in the red zone, and there was one throw to Tate that was just perfect, and Apple booted it away. You see Odell had another punt return for a touchdown called back?
Yeah, I saw that.
From now on, when Odell comes out, I demand that they play Ric Flair's entrance. I think Odell is the nature boy of the NFL. He's got the great hair. He would wear that jacket. He's got the style, the panache, and a little bit of a heel to him. A lot of people hate him. He'll do some dirty things just like Ric Flair.
Pulls the chair off the sideline.
Yeah.
To hit Josh Norman with it.
Josh Norman with it. We got to talk about last night's game. The ship has been scuttled. Is Clam Dingus okay? I know he ran ashore. Did he survive the wreckage?
So he actually there was a small band of survivors that made it off that ship before it was sunk. And they're out right now trying to plunder and get themselves a new ship to rekindle their fury. But he actually floated ashore upon his big bag of jug wine.
It felt like they were going to come back in that game, and it was just all for naught. It was not to be.
Yeah. I guess the only good thing about this was that the Buccaneers covered for us.
Yes.
But the other thing that came out of this game that is good for us and good for everyone else is the fact that Dak Prescott played a good game and the Cowboys won. So maybe people can shut the fuck up about this whole Tony Romo debate. There's no debate. And Tony Romo, you suck up, brown-nosing little biatch. We all see these videos of you sitting next to Jerry at his grandson's high school state football game. You probably got your little hand in his pocket and he cut a hole out of the pocket so you can sit there and tug him off at the fucking game. Oh, please, Jerry. Let me get back in the lineup.
Do you think Tony's going to Jerry and those guys during the season and be like, hey, I just want to let you know Dak's parked in the handicap spot. I just want to let you know Dak took more food than you're supposed to.
So, can I get some reps in at starting offense this week? I figured since I'm back and healthy now, I might as well just start getting, back in the scheme of things.
One thing we saw from the Cowboys last night we haven't seen all year was a pass rush. That Irving destroyed Gosder Charles's will.
Dude, he owned them. So he only had 2 sacks, but he had 5 other quarterback pressures where he did not get a sack, and he had a pass deflection. The dude was a monster.
He was all over.
He was in the backfield all game. They're having to put 2 blockers on him and spell them with the running back at times.
It was big. Hell of a game.
Oh, one last thing about this game. I mean, I feel like we kind of have to mention it. Ezekiel Elliott jumping into the Salvation Army red donation bucket.
It was a solid one. Very, very solid. And this is why celebrations should not only be allowed, they should be encouraged. Because look at all the good it can do.
So much good. So much good is coming out of this. People are donating even more. It's kind of like the whole cleat thing. Everybody wanted to fine Antonio Brown every single week for his cleats. And then the NFL realized, what if we do this cleats for a cause and we look like the good guys? And now suddenly people are allowed to wear whatever fucking cleats they want. In fact, I saw that some dude's wearing cleats tonight to remember Craig Sager.
I like that. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it was Ricky Jean Francois, you know?
Oh, I wouldn't have expected it from him. Guess he's a big Sager fan.
I guess. I mean, do cleats really make that much of a difference that the NFL has to worry about it? Do dances really have to be a punishable offense? If you don't like the dancing, tell your camera guys to pan away. It's like when someone runs on the field from like the stands, the cameras won't show that. So do the same thing with dancing. If you don't like it, don't show it, but don't penalize them for having a little flair and pizzazz out there.
Speaking of not showing it, I'm going to let you guys into a little nugget of truth that the NFL has tried to keep secret. This is my WikiLeaks moment. Super Bowl 38, I believe. I was there. Patriots Panthers in Houston. The infamous Janet's titty popping out. You remember that game, right?
I do.
What no one saw is at halftime, a very famous streaker was able to get on the field in a ref outfit. He put the ball down on the tee, took off all his clothes, and was streaking around the field until a Patriots special teamer knocked his ass on the ground.
That's good stuff.
True story. It was amazing. Just everyone was cheering him on. It was phenomenal. And it was right after Janet's titty popped out, which just changed the world.
So did he have like a half chub going while he was doing this?
Oh, I think it was full chub.
Oh.
I don't know, though. You know that adrenaline gets running and sometimes it just curls up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a grower, not a shower. But yeah, I mean, what else? Fuck. Your Steelers. They tried. Big Ben again on the road was looking terrible. And then Boswell held the team up. And finally, the Bengals turned into the Bengals. They had a series there with 5 straight penalties. It was so classic.
Oh, the Bengals were getting flagged up. Yeah, let's give a shout out to Chris Boswell. He kicked 7 field goals, and then the Steelers finally decide to score a touchdown. I mean, just great.
Do you think it was him seeing Randy Bullock on the sideline who pseudo stole his job just because he was injured? And he was like, I'm going to show you, Randy, you fuck.
Oh, Fat Randy Bullock? Oh, yeah. Fat Randy is a slut of a kicker. He has been around, I want to say 5 teams this season alone.
Oh, yeah, he's getting around.
You know what game I want to talk about?
What?
I want to talk about the savage mouth of the South matchup.
So I was holding off because to me that was the biggest game of the weekend in terms of headlines. It was huge. Okay, first of all, the reign of terror is over. Gus Bradley is fired. And the poor bastard had to ride home on the team plane after being fired.
Do you think they fired him at the stadium, or did they, as he's like getting off the plane, he's like, oh, hey, Gus, come here real quick. By the way, don't show up tomorrow. You're fucking fired.
What was the point with two games left? Was this the loss that really did it for them? Not the 55 other ones?
Yeah, it was hopefully to spark a fire in that locker room so that they can play themselves out of a top pick.
On top of that, the GM has already said the next coach does not have to play Blake Bortles. Yeah, no shit. Look, he could have a resurgence, but I've never seen a quarterback put so many in the dirt. His windup is like Byron Leftwich minus the completions and yards. Straight from the hip, right into the dirt. He just looks confused out there. Maybe he can be rehabilitated. I don't know. It's tough sailing.
Yeah, but you know what quarterback is beyond help? Brock Osweiler. And that's why they brought in one of the best names in the NFL, Tom the Macho Man Savage.
Savage.
Ooh, yeah, brother.
The cream
Tom Savage
will rise to the top, my friend.
comes in after Brock throws 2 picks with 0 points. Can't do shit. Tom Savage comes in, goes 23 of 36, 260 yards, and revigorates that offense and gets DeAndre Hopkins the fucking ball. You want to make your presence felt? Get your best player the ball. DeAndre ends up 8 receptions, 87 yards, and with a smile on his face.
That was the best. It was like a kid at Christmas who's had a bunch of bad ones, and his dad came home for the holidays. He finally had someone to get him the ball. It was like last year in the playoffs, you mentioned the clip of him during the game with Hoyer when he said, "Get that motherfucker out the game." He's been saying that all year. How long do you think Bill O'Brien's been waiting for this? Because my opinion is Bill O'Brien wanted to bench Osweiler's ass weeks ago, but couldn't because of the money and the look that shows. It says, hey, Houston, we fucked up. We fucked up.
I think it was because Tom Savage wasn't active at that point. He had, I think, some sort of elbow bursitis going on, and he wasn't active on the roster. And if you remember, they sunk a draft pick into Tom Savage, so at least they're saying that they're benching Brock for a young guy that they also had faith in enough to draft. So it's like, hey, this is one of my guys.
He is. Now, I'm going to temper Houston fans' expectations of Tom Savage. I don't think he's great. But comparatively, when he came in, he knew where he was going to throw the football, and he had some mustard behind those throws.
Well, he better. Yeah. That arm hasn't been used ever.
He's a slut, by the way. In college, he played for 3 different teams. That's impressive.
Well, you know what? He's only played in like 5 games in the NFL ever. Yeah. So this dude has a full tank of gas and full power in that arm. I mean,
I retract my statements about not wanting to see Houston in the playoffs. Now that Savage is there, I want to see it.
But let's not forget that Bill O'Brien has done it before with bad quarterback play.
He has.
Last season, they went to the playoffs, and they had like 4 or 5 different quarterbacks over the course of that season. And this season, they've still been number 1 in their division, even with Brock Osweiler choking on the dick all season.
Yeah.
So Tom Savage coming in is not going to make or break anything. It's just a step up from Osweiler.
I would like
They're still going to get knocked out first round. They're getting eliminated first round by whoever gets that wild card.
Oh, no, brother. No, brother. One thing I would like to see Bill O'Brien stop doing is ramming Lamar Miller into the A-gap for 2 and 3 yards of a cloud of dust. Get that man the ball on the outside, maybe throw a few screens. You just keep ramming him in there with no lube, get him hurt. That's not his playing style. Stop it.
That's what you have Grimes and Blue for.
Yes.
Use them as human battering rams.
Yeah.
And use Lamar Miller for everything else.
One thing I did see in this game, because I went and watched the replay because I had to see Savage in all his glory compared to Osweiler. Jalen Ramsey is a man.
Stud.
Is a
fucking stud.
Man. He's a fucking unit. If you can watch him, don't even watch the ball, just watch him play. There was a 3-play series where on the first play, Hopkins tries to come off the line, and Ramsey sticks him so hard. It was like when 2 Rams are going to butt heads, and one of them just immediately gets his spine broken and concussed and just stops dead in his tracks. He just blew him up. Then on the second play, he breaks up a pass, and on the third play, fucking rocks the receiver. I think it was Will Fuller. Ramsey is just big, and he hits for corners. He's like Patrick Peterson with a safety mentality. And
yeah, he's
he
good.
Talks shit, which I love. He runs his mouth, and he backs it up. What other rookie comes in the league and lines up against Steve Smith, an all-time shit talker, and just goes at him?
No one else.
While you're playing on a shit team. He's got pride, okay? I like it. I got my eye on the Jaguars. If they get the right coach, I got my eye on them for next year. Get Bortles the fuck out of there. I've seen enough of that. I don't care who you bring in. Just get him out of there. He's a disaster. Yeah. Poor Allen Robinson.
You're done.
You're done,
You're done, son.
You're done. Well, that was a huge game. Now the Texans are sort of interesting. Actually, before we move on, there was a lot of Jadeveon Clowney signing. For all the hate that man has gotten being injured, he was wrecking the offensive line of the Jaguars.
He was. It's really good to see him step up in the absence of Watt. He's had a great season, and not a lot of people talking about him, but he's just been quietly in there doing that work, punching that time card.
Watt was on the sidelines for the first time all year.
Yeah, he was finally medically cleared to stand for 3 hours at a time.
To stand and cheer. It's going to be interesting because that last game, it's going to come down to them and the Titans.
Yeah, it will. That'll be a close one.
One last thing on Savage. Just pulled up his Pro Football Focus stats. Mr. Savage posted a 103 rating when blitzed. When not blitzed, 75. No pressure, 77. Under pressure, 101. So that tells us Tom loves the pressure. Bring the heat. He's going to burn you.
I dare you to blitz him.
I dare you to blitz him. Stand back in the pocket. Things might go well for you.
You know what? Speaking of close ones, I don't even want to talk about it that much, but the Eagles-Ravens game.
Wow.
Eagles fight their way back to ruin the spread, even though Ravens get the win. Joe Flacco, you let me down. Eagles, what are you playing for? Just give it up.
Playing for that pride, apparently. The Ravens' defense has been a disaster without Jimmy Smith. It's weird that one guy can make that big of a difference, but it's been huge. I don't know. That was surprising. And now we got the game of games. Baltimore going to Pittsburgh next week. You ready for that?
I am. And isn't it on Christmas Day?
Indeed it is.
What a present.
All the games next week are on Saturday. Except
for the Steelers game, because it's such a gift to the world. They wanted to save it for Sunday.
You know it's a gift to the world on Saturday on Christmas Eve? Tom Savage at home, primetime, against the Bengals. If there's one thing gamblers should love, it's Andy Dalton in primetime, and especially Andy Dalton in primetime against the Texans. Cha-ching. Any other? We got a few others. We're going to glaze over San Francisco, Atlanta. That was what we expected.
Let me sum it up for you real quick. Falcons crushed them. Devontae Freeman had 3 tuds. Falcons beat up on a weak team. I was going to say something really disparaging, but I want none of our listeners to be offended over such a bad game. So, yeah.
Cleveland laid down again. They're 0-8 in their last 8 against the spread, which you're not just bad. You can't even cover a 10-point spread ever. There's nothing to say about them. We'll glaze over that one. Moving on to more interesting teams. That New England-Denver game, that's probably the nail in the coffin for the Broncos, isn't it?
Yeah, I said on our last podcast that the Broncos were going to lose this one and they were going to be done and they weren't going to make the playoffs. And Patriots go in there and show them up. I was actually disappointed. I thought the Patriots should have just ran that score up. They had the ability to do it. They just ran the ball too much. But what I loved hearing was about the division in the locker room of the Broncos. We had Aqib Talib and Russell Okung just going at it. I guess just screaming at each other near to fisticuffs. And they had to be pulled apart. And then Kubiak came out in the press conference and said that there is no division in the locker room and that they're a cohesive unit. So I don't know who to believe here.
There's been division since last year. They were just winning. They're still winning. They're 8-6, but how long can your defense be this good and you watch that offense, which has gotten worse in the last few weeks and wasn't good to begin with? It was pathetic performance offensively. You held Tom Brady to 16 points. What more can you ask for? And then the Broncos got a little bit, they were pissed. So they tried to do what teams like that do. And they tried to injure the Patriots and make their playoff life miserable. TJ Ward putting a suplex on Edelman and then flexing. Take a lap, bro. That was shit. Yeah. That was a shit move.
You're in the NFL, not the WWF, bro.
Yeah. And then let's go to the most depressing game of the week. One that we thought could be a trap. Oakland and San Diego.
So I never thought it was going to be a trap because I've been burned so many times this season by San Diego. They're fucking dead to me. They're so dead to me. Not to mention, Raider Nation in San Diego. Oh my God. That whole stadium was black and silver. My buddy, who just had hip surgery 2 days before the game, diehard Raiders fan, was also at the game in the black hole. They turned the queue into the black hole. And every time they panned that crowd, it looked like it was Oakland.
Rivers had to go to a silent count. It was so loud at a home game.
Yeah.
That's on you, Spanos. I don't blame Chargers fans for not wanting to show up. Your team is just going to rip your heart out, and you know they're not going to be there next year.
You know, surprisingly, Rivers only had one pick. But we called it that Khalil Mack was going to be in that backfield all day. And if you watch that final drive, I was talking to you, and I was like, dude, are you watching this? Tune in. Here goes Rivers' face.
It was Rivers' face 101. Now, if the Chargers are in fact moving to LA, Kroenke and the Rams better be scrambling to get a sexy hire at coach because the Chargers are going to be more interesting.
Yeah, the Rams need to hire John Gruden. John Gruden creams his pants every time he talks about Jared Goff. And unless the Chargers get rid of the visor, Mike McCoy, and get a good coach in there, anybody's more exciting than Mike McCoy cruising around in his Chrysler Plymouth Voyager or whatever the fuck his minivan is.
Give me some Melvin Gordon.
Dude. Melvin Gordon, man. They needed him. If Melvin Gordon played, I think the Chargers had a chance to win this game.
Yeah. Does the curse travel with them?
Ooh.
I guess it travels with Manti Te'o, so it does.
If Manti Te'o leaves the team, the Chargers are no longer cursed. And Manti Te'o's a free agent at the end of the season.
Ooh. That's going to be the biggest signing of the offseason. Wherever he goes, expect your
whoever
injury
signs
report to be
Lene Kakua.
Yeah. Whoever signs Lene Kakua, your injury report is going to be full all year.
Yeah.
So you got any nuggets on tonight's game?
Yeah, Luke Kuechly's not playing.
Smart.
Which helps out my my pick of Washington a lot. And Josh Norman gets to play against his old team. And I don't know how that's going to go. I guess he's saying his emotions are really high going into this game, but he's going to try to control them. He's going to work hard to control them. Dude, just fucking ball out.
I have a feeling Cam Newton wants to show up for this one. He's laid down a few times. It's a prime time. I could see a shootout.
I need him to.
Yeah. I could see a shootout.
I need him to show up.
I don't. I might just bench him just to spite the person I'm playing. I already have the win. Just bench my guy, let him rest.
Yeah, right. Another big play for this one. I think Greg Olsen's going to come up big in this game. I'm not very sold on the linebackers, coverage wise in Washington. So I think Greg Olsen's a very good play in this game. I just, I really want to see Cam Newton step up, but that's, selfish reasons I'm starting him in fantasy.
This is also the week 15 and 16. It almost bit me in the ass. I don't know how I went 5-0 in picking duck and did well in the bets because this is those weeks late in the season where a few teams that are out of it, they play their asses off. And you saw it in those divisional games, some other ones. We had, I think, 9 underdogs cover this week.
Oh, yeah. Just ruining my pool, but it didn't ruin our picking duck.
No,
the over-under on this game is 51. I took the under.
Smart play. Cam Newton, 250 to 270, 60 yards rushing, 3 total TDs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I mean, I'm okay with that.
You feeling it? Do you need it? Are you in the playoff battle, or your playoffs don't start till next week?
I've already clinched. My playoffs start next week, but just like Clam Dingus knocked off Jeff to ruin his chances to make the playoffs, if I beat this dude tonight, I'm playing against Jerry, if you're out there, you're going to be done. I will knock him out of the 1 seed in his division. We do a divisional thing, and it'll knock him to the number 2 seed, which means he would most likely be playing me next week as well, and I've owned him all season.
That's good. So, we're gonna do our picks later in the week. So we got nothing else to talk about. It was a great week, and these last 2 weeks of the NFL are gonna be great. There's a lot of teams still in the mix, and you and I still refuse to buy the Packers. Everyone's chalking up the Packers like they're just gonna go into Detroit, easy dub. Like Detroit's just gonna roll over in Dallas. I don't buy it.
Tony Dungy came out and said Matt Stafford is going to will the Lions to a victory against the Packers, putting the Lions in the playoffs, and Packers will miss the playoffs because of it.
Ooh. I got one for
Yeah.
you. If you're the Cowboys, who would you least like to see in that first round out of a wild card?
Giants.
Giants?
Giants. Clearly the Giants. The only team that has your fucking number.
I wouldn't really want to see the Packers as much shit as I talk.
What if it's the Bucks?
I'd feel better. The Bucks can beat you, but I'd
They
feel
can
better.
be beaten.
They can be beaten. They can be beaten. Well, shit. I think that's it. Everyone try to enjoy this Monday night. A lot of fantasy and playoff implications. It's at least a watchable game. I can watch this
absolutely.
game. You got anything else for us?
Yeah. Go on iTunes, rate and review us. Go on Picking Duck. Check us out. Other than that, it's always a pleasure.
Always, my man.
Sip, serve, swing, and bang, jam. Nothing but that screw fool.